Because Mulayam Singh Yadav is no more. He died at the age of 82. His son, Akhilesh Yadav, announced it this morning. Over the course of the next 20 minutes, we're going to have the sharpest political minds at the India Today group break it down for you on what would be Netaji's legacy. What would India remember his political journey as? Do stay with me. First up, let me take you through the headlines. BJP leads protest after communal clashes rock Bengal's Mominpur area. Bengal BJP seeks deployment of central forces to stop riots. 38 detained so far.
हम लोग का एक डिमांड है, आप गवर्नमेंट को जल्दी एडवाइस कीजिए डिप्लॉयमेंट ऑफ पैरामिलिट्री फोर्स। वहाँ हालत बहुत खराब है और पुलिस पूरा रिलक्टेंट है।
Big day in Uttar Shinde symbol war. Shiv Sena submits mace, trumpet and sword as poll symbol against Uddhav's Trishul, Mashal and rising sun. Samajwadi Party patriarch Mulayam Singh Yadav passes away at 82. Tributes pour in from across the country. Prime Minister expresses condolences. Mortal remains reach Sefai.
उनका जाना देश के लिए एक बहुत बड़ी क्षति है। मैं ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करता हूं कि उनके परिवार, उनके समर्थकों को ये दुख सहने की शक्ति दे।
There's more trouble mounting for Adi Purush. Legal notice sent to the producer and artist of film for hurting spiritual sentiments of Hindus. Putin chairs Security Council meet days after blast on Crimean bridge. Multiple explosions rock the heart of Kyiv. Zelensky urges G7 nations to convene urgent meet. PSU banks rescue the rupee from an all-time low of 82.68 to a dollar. Sell dollars on behalf of the RBI. The Indian currency finally closes at its Friday level of 82.32. The Samajwadi Party founder Mulayam Singh Yadav passed away while undergoing treatment at Medanta Hospital. He was 82. Political tributes have poured in since across party lines. The Prime Minister has called Mulayam a humble and grounded leader who was sensitive to people's need. Modi called Netaji a key soldier for democracy during the emergency. President Murmu, condoling Mulayam, called him Dharti Putra, while Home Minister Amit Shah paid rich tribute. He went to the Medanta Hospital, terming Netaji's demise as the end of an era. The UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has announced a 3-day state mourning in lieu of Mulayam's death and full state honours for his final rites.
मैं यहाँ आ रहा था तो एक दुखद खबर भी मिली। आज मुलायम सिंह यादव जी का निधन हो गया है। मुलायम सिंह यादव जी, उनका जाना देश के लिए एक बहुत बड़ी क्षति है। मुलायम सिंह जी के साथ मेरा नाता बड़ा विशेष प्रकार का रहा। जब हम दोनों मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में मिला करते थे, वे भी और मैं भी दोनों के प्रति एक अपनत्व का भाव अनुभव करते थे।
विनम्र श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूं। शोक संतप्त परिजनों और समर्थकों के प्रति भी अपनी संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूं। श्री मुलायम सिंह यादव जी एक जुझारू और संघर्षशील नेता थे। समाजवादी विचारधारा से जुड़े एक महत्वपूर्ण स्तंभ थे।
एक ऐसे नेता जो जमीन से जुड़े हुए थे, आम जनता से जुड़कर वो राजनीति करते थे और कड़े फैसले लेने में कभी वो पीछे नहीं हटे। तो ऐसे राजनेता के जाने से निश्चित रूप से भारतीय राजनीति को अपूर्णी क्षति हुई है। मैं अपने प्रदेश की ओर से मृतक आत्मा की शांति के लिए और दुखी परिवार के ईश्वर उनको शक्ति प्रदान करे, इसके लिए मैं प्रार्थना करता हूँ।
मुलायम सिंह यादव बहुत कम लीडरों में ऐसे लीडर थे जिन्होंने कम्युनल फोर्सेस का न सिर्फ डट के मुकाबला किया बल्कि उनके सामने सरेंडर करने से इनकार कर दिया और माइनॉरिटीज़ के साथ खड़े रहे, पिछड़ों के साथ खड़े रहे। और जो आज जो कम्युनल फोर्सेस इस मुल्क के अंदर ताकतवर हो रही हैं और बहुत कम लीडर ऐसे हैं जो उनके सामने खड़े होने की जुर्रत करते हैं। तो मुझे लगता है मुलायम सिंह यादव साहब की ज़िंदगी से हमें सबक सीखना चाहिए।
What I'm going to do is I want to cut across to Sefai. That is where the mortal remains of Netaji have reached the same place where he scripted a spectacular political journey. Sefai in Uttar Pradesh, his hometown. He is the son of Sefai. Joining us right now is my colleague Abhishek Mishra from there. Abhishek, the funeral is tomorrow, 3 p.m. But I'm sure the outpouring of grief in Sefai, one can just see that right behind you. So many people just standing.
Well, certainly, Preeti, and this is very evident with the fact that Netaji Mulayam Singh Yadav was just not a political leader or any veteran leader. He was actually the father of Sefai. And let me show you the visuals first. You can see, look at the people who have come here to see him for the last time. Not just from Sefai, Etawah, Mainpuri, Farrukhabad, Kannauj, from Agra to Firozabad, from everywhere. And the number is just increasing. There is no decrease as far as, these people are concerned. Now, what is also important, CM Yogi Adityanath has come here and he has also, paid his tribute. And at the same time, it is also very important that, cross party lines, all the political leaders have come up. They are giving their tribute to Mulayam Singh Yadav and remembering every single thing associated with him. I'm joined with some of the people from Sefai. They are the old कार्यकर्ताs as well. क्या नाम है आपका?
मेरा नाम सुधीर यादव है।
क्या कुछ याद आता है आज आपको नेताजी के लिए? इतने लोग हैं।
नेताजी के बहुत नज़दीक रहा। सन 84 में नेताजी जब जनता दल से चुनाव लड़ाया उन्होंने, तो भारत सिंह चौहान का लड़का
अलग कैसे थे बाकी लोगों से?
अलग इसलिए थे कि नेताजी बहुत ही गरीब तबके को ऊपर लाते थे। जैसे उन्होंने क्षेत्र में एक होटल चलाने वाला सुंदर सिंह बघेल हुए करते थे, उन्हें मंत्री बना दिया, विधायक बनाया, मंत्री बनाया। फूलन देवी जैसी डाकू थी, उसको जो है उन्होंने मंत्री बना दिया।
आपका क्या नाम है, कहाँ से आए?
श्याम सिंह।
नेताजी के तो बहुत पुराने दौर से उनके साथ रहे। कितना आज कुछ क्या याद कर रहे हैं उनको?
हाँ, सब याद ही कर रहे हैं। कहा बताएं, क्या समझ में नहीं आते।
बहुत दुख है मन में।
बहुत दुख है। जन्मत रहे बच्चा पंतसन नहीं रहते।
Absolutely, Preeti. You just heard what they have to say. Very sad with the fact that, Netaji, and we have spoken to a lot of people here. Be it the senior citizens, be it, the youngsters, everyone, they are so much associated with not only just with Netaji, with the whole Yadav family. And when Netaji arrived, along with Akhilesh Yadav, Dimple Yadav, all were deeply saddened. And the visuals is evident enough to say how badly everyone is missing Netaji right now. And
Abhishek,
it's the last time when they all can see him. Yes.
Well, Abhishek, appreciate you joining us. We're going to continue to come back to you. Let's quickly now listen in to four-time Samajwadi Party MP, Rajya Sabha since 2004, actor Jaya Bachchan.
आप उनके देहांत को और पूरे राजनीतिक जीवन को किस पर्सपेक्टिव में देखते हैं कि हाउ डू यू सी, क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन है मुलायम सिंह यादव का इस देश की राजनीति में?
मैंने उनको देखा, वो किस तरह से पार्टी के लोगों से मिलते थे, बात करते थे। एक सबके साथ उनका एक पर्सनल रैपो हुआ करता था और जो जिस भाषा में बात करते थे वो उसी तरह जवाब देते थे और एक बहुत आत्मीयता थी उनके अंदर पार्टी वर्कर्स के साथ। कभी कभी मैं उनसे पूछती थी कि नेताजी, आपको इन लोग कुछ भी खड़े होकर मीटिंग में बोल देते हैं, आप कुछ इनसे कहते नहीं है? थोड़ा बहुत डिसिप्लिन होना चाहिए। तो वो मुझे हमेशा कहते थे, आज मैं जो हूँ इनकी वजह से हूँ।
हाउ डू यू डिफाइन मुलायम सिंह एज ए नेता? किस तरह डिफाइन करेंगे उनको अगर शॉर्ट में कहा जाए कि?
आई थिंक द मोस्ट जेनरस, मोस्ट ह्यूमन एंड a great strategist.
I want to cut across now to some of India's, and we're lucky to have them on India Today, sharpest political analysts. For those of us who wish to cover politics, we've usually followed Akhilesh Yadav. What you read about Mulayam Singh Yadav is, in textbook would be the icon or one of the big icons of India's socialist movement. But let's speak to some of those who've tracked his trajectory in his career. Joining me in the studio this evening is Rajdeep Sardesai, consulting editor, Rahul Srivastav, national affairs editor, Javed Ansari, senior journalist. All three of you have closely followed the trajectory, the career, the politics of Netaji Mulayam Singh Yadav. And Rahul, let me begin with you. How would you pay tribute, or what would be the legacy of Netaji if you had to encapsulate it in very few words?
You see, there are few leaders whose journey starts with you and ends with you. Ram Janmabhoomi and Mulayam Singh I met in the same year, 1989. And if you see Mulayam's career, today a BJP can say Congress Mukt Bharat, a Mamata Banerjee owes it, says that she has defeated Congress, TRS and others. 1989, go back, rewind, and Mulayam Singh Yadav was the one who served the first eviction notice on Congress. It was in Uttar Pradesh, and remember, he was a backward in a world dominated by the upper caste, the Congress party, and UP was undivided, 425 seats, 85 Lok Sabha seats. And at that time, Mulayam Singh Yadav, though led by people like VP Singh and others, Bofors aided it, the fact remains that he came to power, and after that, he wrested away the Congress's vote bank. And that hurt the Congress, I think, like never before, that in 1990, when he ordered firing twice, later October and early November, on the car sevaks, he became Mullah Mulayam. And you see at that time, Mulayam Singh Yadav, till 2022 election, when virtually 75% Muslims have voted in UP for Akhilesh Yadav and the Samajwadi party. He came to politics at a time when Mandal was happening, Lalu Prasad Yadav in Bihar, and Kamandal was beginning to happen. So he was at that moment where you had Mandal and Kamandal were dictating politics. And today what you have in Narendra Modi, who has shifted the demographic base towards backwards and the socially marginalized, and is talking Hindutva. So today's politics owes so much to Mulayam Singh Yadav and 1989.
Rajdeep, you've covered politics at a time where most of us would envy. You've been up close and personal with the biggest interviews. You've seen their trajectory. How would you remember Mulayam Singh Yadav?
I will remember Mulayam Singh Yadav as a leader of incredible stamina and a genuine mass leader. This term mass leader is used very loosely in the times in which we live. Someone wins 1 or 2 elections, we say mass leader ban gaya hai. A mass leader, I believe, is someone who is actually connected right down to the grassroots with the workers of their party. And I've seen it in Mulayam Singh and in Sharad Pawar. The ability to know the names of every panchayat leader of their party. And Uttar Pradesh is a very large, complex, complicated state. But when you travelled with Netaji, he would do 10, 12, Rahul told me he did 19 rallies once. And I was exhausted. And I was much younger, but I was exhausted. It was hot, excruciatingly hot. Netaji was loving every moment of it. And every place that we stopped, he would speak to the people who came to greet him by first name. And according to me, that is a sign of a leader who has come up through the ranks, who understands what is the importance of connecting with the last man, the worker, the panchayat, the Zilla Parishad Samiti. And if the Samajwadi party even today is robust, despite the fact that the BJP has become the dominant force in Uttar Pradesh and beyond, it's because of the work of Netaji, because he put his heart and soul into building a party. So that's how I will remember him, as a leader who truly was a mass-rooted leader, came up through the Mandal revolution, transformed dramatically the politics as a result of Uttar Pradesh, overturned the upper caste dominance in a way, started with Charan Singh, You know, with the Ajgar formula, the Ahir Jat, Gujjar Rajput formula, Mulayam followed him and eventually went his own way. He betrayed a lot of his mentors, but he was very clear that he wanted to build his own party. And you've got to give credit to someone who is a builder and a creator of a political party.
You know, I'm going to ask the both of you one anecdote of your meeting with him, but I'll pull in Javed Ansari as well, because, you know, Mr. Ansari, I remember being at a press conference, a cub reporter, and I remember him addressing you as Javed, something which Rajdeep says, remembering the first names, speaking with you. You followed him very closely. Once again, I'll ask you the same question. What should India remember of Mulayam Singh Yadav's politics today?
The courage of his conviction to stand against the tide and take tough decisions. Examples, what he did in the Ayodhya movement in the 90s that Rahul was alluding to. Both of us were there. We were eyewitnesses. He gained and suffered as a consequence. He nominated somebody like Phulan Devi to the Lok Sabha. It was a tough call to take. Not very popular, a decision that was not very popular with the literati, yet he went ahead. And he was the poster child of, along with Lalu, of the Mandal revolution. He brought about a seismic change in the way politics was played out in the Hindi heartland, particularly UP. He changed the caste calculus. Earlier it was upper caste dominated, Brahmins, Thakurs, Kayas. Now he turned it on its head. You talked of a personal anecdote. I once traveled with Mulayam Singh Yadav. I was in his chopper, and we seem to have lost our way. The coordinates that were sent to him were all wrong. So twice he landed, once at a BSP rally and the next time at a BJP rally. Mulayam Singh got very angry. He told he says, "Ye utha ke pheko." And he told him, "Look, 10 miles to the right is a railway station, fly there." So we went there. He says, "Now follow this railway track." So we followed the railway track. He says, "Now, after a couple minutes on the left-hand side, you'll find a water tank. In my time, it used to be colored white. It now must have turned black, but nonetheless do it." So we went to the water tank. He says, "Iske baad ye baag hai, and wahan pe rally hai." Lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. What happened? We went there, and like Rajdeep and Rahul said, he knew most people by first name, and he was a great host. You went to his house either at Kalidas Marg or even when you toured with him. Mulayam Singh Yadav didn't eat too much, but he ensured that he plied you with glasses of lassi or milk. And after some time, you know, there was just, we were not used to that kind of food. And I kept telling him, "Netaji, ye nahi hoga." He said, "Bahut badi galti ki, shahar chale gaye. Gaon mein rehte, to hajam ho jata, ek aur piyo." So that was Netaji. He could take tough calls and he meant a lot. He stood by his people. And today I can say with certainty that there are many homes, there will be many homes in Uttar Pradesh where food will not be cooked today. I was speaking to an MP, a 7-time MLA, 3-time MP of his party, and I said, "When was the last time?" He just couldn't complete his sentence. He started bawling on the phone. And this is a 70-year-old man. That's the kind of thing. He stood by his people through thick and thin. And that's not what you can say for a lot of leaders.
Well, you know, I want to bring in the both of you, Rajdeep and Rahul, and I want to ask just this one question before we close the show. Is a personal anecdote, because Rahul, you know, he might have been an adept Pahalwan, but he was a wily politician as well. You know, even if you go back in history, there's a lot of things even I can't wrap my head around in what he did.
Oh, yes. Mulayam was so good at it that his right hand won't really know what his left was doing. He was like a typical Pahalwan who will feign something and do something else. But, you know, our journey was, you know, it was a very different start to our journey in 1989. And the stories about him, you know, about how he told, you know, it shows how politics was at one time and how this politics of subaltern. Today, Narendra Modi owes it to the people like Mulayam, because if they hadn't done what they did at that time, there would have been no BJP where it is today. Why I say that? Imagine a young man who goes to college, does not have a second set of white pajama kurta. There is no electricity in his village. He has studied in a school run by the village sarpanch. Finally goes to college. And there is a nala, there is no road, and he has to cross a barsati nala, a monsoon drain. So what he does, he wraps his clothes in a plastic bag, crosses the drain in his underwears, and then goes and has a bath at the tube well, and then goes to college. He has only one old bicycle his father gifted. So what he does, he fears that it may get stolen. So he puts it on his shoulder, climbs on top of a banyan tree, and on the highest branch, he chains it up. When I asked him, why do you do it? Maybe somebody can take it. He says, no, there is nobody as fit as me. He starts teaching in his school. The owner has a telephone. Mulayam has never seen a telephone. 60 villages. He was the first graduate in 60 villages of Yadavs. So he's sitting there. The owner says, why don't you answer the call, Mulayam? Mulayam doesn't know how to lift the phone. He abuses him and says, Mulayam, phone uthao. He lifts it. The other side, the person is saying, hello, hello. Mulayam thinks he's saying hello. After 4 times, Mulayam says, tum hello, main kyun hello? And he bangs the phone down. That was Mulayam Singh Yadav. You can imagine that this may sound like an anecdote, but that was the story of from where the origins of Mulayam Singh Yadav to where he became the wily politician who beat Charan Singh, Ajit Singh, Hemati Nandan Bahuguna, Devi Lal, VP Singh, and Lalu Prasad Yadav and others, and even challenged Mulayam Singh, Mayawati's, created Mayawati in fact. 93, if there was no alliance with Mayawati, there would have been virtually no Mayawati. BJP virtually held by Mulayam Singh Yadav, because if there was no firing, the Ram Janmabhoomi agitation wouldn't have been the same. I think a lot of politicians should today sit back and think what Mulayam contributed to their lives.
Let me quickly take off from where Rahul Srivastav left, because he tells you of the Mulayam Singh Yadav who had never seen a telephone. I saw Mulayam Singh Yadav later in the 90s at Amar Singh's house in a very different garb. He still came in his sort of dhoti kurta and all, but you know, they were being served all around them were all the celebrities had come from Bollywood. There was Sri Devi and there were actors there. The liquor was flowing in the room, and you know, those were the days when Subroto Roy's Sahara was also a very important part in a way of the Samajwadi party, Parivar, if I may call it. And moment Mulayam Singh came, there was silence for a moment. So surrounded by you know, in the late 90s, surrounded by all these celebrities there, the moment he appeared, very short of in height, but you know, still a commanding presence, complete pin drop silence. And then you realize that, you know, how Mulayam Singh had moved in a way from Sefai to now being among the bright lights of Delhi. And he was drinking something, and I wondered whether it was you know, whether it was, he said, nahi, orange juice pee raha hu main. So it was supposedly orange juice. I will give him the benefit of doubt. But you know, you could see that Mulayam had come a long way, for better or worse. Because I think somewhere, the moment he realized that he needed resources to keep the party going, to build the party, I don't think Mulayam Singh was quite the Samajwadi or the Loyaite that he started his life with. You know, he was, I think, inspired by Loya, but by the end, he had become almost a prisoner, dare I say, of the kind of politics that Amar Singh represented. But very clear, he was the boss. Amar Singh may have well told the world, ki, you know, I am the one who controls Mulayam. But right till the end, Mulayam was the one who would call the shots. Amar Singh was more than happy to tag along.
See, I think he wanted to mainstream the party. That's why he used Amar Singh. But something else happened. There was a dilution. But I'll tell you, like Karunanidhi, I think Mulayam Singh Yadav mainstreamed the opposition in India, in North India. There is nobody else who has done it as well as Mulayam.
You know, I'm going to let it be there, but Javed, I'm going to pull you in for exactly 20 seconds. I've run terribly. Okay, we don't have Javed Ansari anymore, but Rajdeep, you want to come in for just 20 seconds and tell us when possibly Netaji got very close to being the next Prime Minister, and that didn't happen?
You know, that was the moment. The fact was that Harkishan Singh Surjit had put his name, and it had been virtually decided in 1997 that it would be Mulayam Singh Yadav. Harkishan Singh Surjit then left, went to another, had to go to a central committee meeting. The likes of VP Singh then connected with the likes of Lalu Prasad, all the old Janta Parivar, and effectively vetoed Mulayam Singh. And then comes the ultimate lucky draw winner, which is I.K. Gujral, who was ironically sleeping in a room in the same
and he had no clue,
and had to be woken up by Jaipal Reddy to tell him, guess what, you're becoming the Prime Minister.
Well, that's the game of politics. I appreciate all three of you for joining us. You can catch all three of them in exactly half hour on the top of 8 p.m. But best to hear it from them on what would have been the legacy, or is in fact the legacy, of Mulayam Singh Yadav. Thank you for joining us. On the other side, it's to the point. Stay with me.
watching India Today.
I don't read the news. I read between the lines to tell you the true version of events. The true story of our times.
To document grief, the toughest assignment for any journalist to be.
From those who matter.
Women politicians going to stick up for each other.
Of those who should matter. I document the truth. I don't distort the truth. I don't glamorize the truth. I don't gloss over the truth.
The ghosts of India's contentious medieval history have come knocking again.
I hustle for the truth. On the ground, in the newsroom, in the studio. I don't try to grab eyeballs.
I inform you to make you see the point.
To the Point with Preeti Chaudhary. At these times, only on India Today.
Internet. For humans, life on Earth is unimaginable without it. We spend hours together on cell phones, but have you ever wondered how you catch this high-speed internet? So how does satellite internet work? Why is it useful and criticized? Very high-speed internet everywhere on Earth, including the out-of-coverage areas or blank zones, is the promise of satellite internet. 3 factors are necessary: a ground station connected to the global internet network, a geostationary satellite, and a dish installed at the subscribers pointing towards the satellite. With each search on the internet, the dish sends the requested data to the satellite, which in turn sends it back to a transmitting or receiving station itself connected to the internet. Once the information is obtained, the data will follow the reverse path. The pioneers of satellite internet operate using satellites in geostationary orbit at an altitude of more than 35,000 kilometers. The data travels a long distance, generating a latency time 3 to 5 times greater than that of asymmetric digital subscriber line or ADSL, an older popular form of broadband. The new operators, on the other hand, function in low orbit or LEO around 600 kilometers. The advantage here is to reduce the latency time, which makes it possible to multiply the services in transport, finance, defense, or even video games. It is now possible to have the internet when up in the sky or down at sea. On the other hand, this requires sending many machines in low orbit. Constellations of satellites are being deployed now above our heads by private operators. Starlink, a subsidiary of SpaceX, has already launched thousands of machines, the same for Amazon's Kuiper system. Countries such as China or Britain are developing their own network to preserve the sovereignty. These responses to an explosion of internet needs are attracting criticism. The satellites are more vulnerable than geostationary ones, while astronomers point to the visual pollution caused by the passage of satellites on their observations. NASA fears the proliferation of satellites will raise the risk of collision in space.
Watching India Today. Justice, liberty, equality, the pillars that built India. A nation where everyone has dignity and opportunities to prosper. But today, over 75 years after independence, Dalits remain a community trapped for centuries by the caste system, languishing in a dismal state. Nearly 20% of India's population is Dalit. Dalits still live in abject poverty, excluded on the margins, facing atrocities, toxic untouchability, and no opportunities for economic upliftment. The father of India's constitution, Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, fought all his life for the upliftment of Dalits. In the past, many state and central governments have made big promises, but it has been nothing more than lip service. Basic human rights have still not been delivered. Dalits remain downtrodden and discriminated against. This shocking reality is a national shame. Few have dared to break the cage of caste discrimination until now. Friend to the downtrodden, upholding human rights and dignity, championing Ambedkar's India, KCR is showing India and the world our revolution is sparked in Telangana through his path-breaking scheme, Telangana Dalit Bandhu. Approximately 17,50,000 Dalit families call Telangana home, and now they are calling Telangana the land of opportunity. Thanks to Dalit Bandhu, launched in 2021 by the TRS government, a world-first scheme which will give each Dalit family an astounding financial boost of 10 lakh rupees. There are many more schemes along with this which are under implementation all over the state. But Dalit Bandhu is a specially designed program for the upliftment of the Dalit community. It has an unprecedented objective to uplift 17,50,000 Dalit households with a one-time capital grant of 10 lakh rupees per household, 100% subsidy with zero repayment, delivered via direct-to-beneficiary transfer, with a dedicated Dalit Bandhu scheme help desk and monitoring committee at village, mandal, district and state level, and a 10% reservation for Dalits in profit-generating schemes, government contracts and licenses. In addition to this, Telangana has another visionary program for Dalit students, residential schools and colleges, and Ambedkar Overseas Vidya Nidhi, a 20 lakh rupees overseas scholarship, giving them the most powerful tool for success, education. Huzurabad, 2021. The Telangana Dalit Bandhu pilot was launched. Telangana's Dalit Bandhu is a path-breaking scheme that places absolute trust in the beneficiary. Each household has complete freedom and flexibility to decide its business and how to grow their dreams.
నేను వచ్చేసి ఫార్మసీ చదివాను సార్. దాని తర్వాత యాజ్ ఏ ఫార్మసిస్ట్గా చాలా ప్లేస్లో చేశాను సార్. ఎప్పుడైతే మన తెలంగాణ గవర్నమెంట్ ఈ దళిత బంధు పెట్టిందో అప్పుడు ఇంకా నాకు ఎప్పటి నుంచో నా ఓన్గా బిజినెస్ పెట్టుకున్నామని నాకు అంతకుముందే ఉండేది సార్. మన టీఆర్ఎస్ గవర్నమెంట్ దళిత బంధు స్కీమ్ ఒకటి పెట్టి నా ఓన్గా నేను సెటిల్ కావడానికి ఒక ఆపర్చునిటీ క్రియేట్ చేసింది సార్.
Households were identified as beneficiaries and the direct benefit transfer of 10 lakh rupees was made. Each family unit was free to decide how they wished to invest this 100% subsidy. It could be a single or multiple businesses. Multiple beneficiaries could pool their resources to build a bigger business. It could be in any sector of their choice. The sky was the limit. In no time, the stories of transformation began rolling in. These are just a small fraction of the 40,000 success stories that Telangana has empowered through the Dalit Bandhu scheme. In just 1 year, it has smashed records for any Dalit upliftment scheme in the country. Till date, the Dalit Bandhu scheme has been implemented in all 119 assembly constituencies in Telangana. Beneficiaries have achieved prosperity for their families. They have also created opportunity for their community by providing employment and revenue. The resounding success of the Dalit Bandhu scheme has energized the TRS government to accelerate its efforts. From 40,000 beneficiaries with an outlay of 4,441.8 crore rupees, now Telangana government has raised the Dalit Bandhu budget to reach about 2 lakh beneficiaries with an outlay of 17,700 crore rupees, making this the world's largest direct benefit scheme.
దళిత బంధు వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఈ 10 లక్షలు అనేది మామూలుగా అందరికీ ఆపర్చునిటీ రాదు. ఇది పూర్తిగా గవర్నమెంట్ వాళ్ళు మాకు 10 లక్షలు ఇచ్చేసి మీ ఇష్టం ఉన్న వ్యాపారాన్ని పెట్టుకో అని చెప్పేసి అనడం వల్ల మాకు ఇంత ఆర్థిక పురోగతి కలిగింది. అదే కాకుండా మేము ఇంతకుముందు ఒక దగ్గర వర్కర్గా పనిచేసిన వాళ్ళం ఇప్పుడు ఓనర్గా ఉండగలుగుతున్నాం.
Never before has such a revolutionary scheme been designed to end caste discrimination, where Dalits receive 100% opportunity along with 100% dignity.
దళిత బంధు పథకం రాకముందు మేమైతే చాలా స్ట్రగుల్స్ ఫేస్ చేసాము. దళిత బంధు పథకం కింద మేము ఈ ఎంబ్రాయిడరీ మిషన్ ఎంచుకొని పెట్టుకున్నాము. నేర్చుకున్న వరకునే నేను ఫుల్ఫిల్ చేయాలనుకొని ఈ ఎంబ్రాయిడరీ స్టార్ట్ చేశాను సార్. ఇచ్చినందుకు చాలా చాలా ధన్యవాదాలు కేసీఆర్ గారికి, తెలంగాణ ప్రభుత్వానికి కూడా మేము ఎంతో రుణపడి ఉన్నాము.
ముగ్గురం కలిసి ఒక యూనిట్ పెట్టాము. అంటే 30 lakhs పెట్టి ఒక వెహికల్ను ఇప్పుడు అమెరికన్ టూరిస్ట్ షాప్ పెట్టాము. బాగానే నడుస్తుంది ఇప్పుడైతే. అంటే నేను జాబ్ చేసేవాడిని, ఇప్పుడు ఓనర్గా అంటే ఒక కంపెనీ ఓనర్గా ఇప్పుడు ఫీల్ అవుతున్నా. చాలా హ్యాపీగా ఉంది.
జీవనోపాధిగా మిషన్ కుట్టుకుంటూ బ్రతికేదాన్ని సార్. మాకు 3 పిల్లలు, వాళ్ళని చదివించుకుంటూ మేము బ్రతకాలంటే చాలా కష్టమైంది సార్. ఇప్పుడు దళిత బంధు ద్వారా కేసీఆర్ గారు ఆదుకున్నారు సార్. వాళ్ళు ఇద్దరం కలిసి పెట్టుకున్నాం సార్ మిషన్. కోయంబత్తూరు నుంచి వెళ్ళి తెప్పించుకున్నాం సార్ మిషన్ను. నాన్ ఓవెన్ బ్యాగ్స్ సార్. మేము మాకు నెలకు 50,000 వరకు వస్తాయి సార్. 3 జీతాలు 50,000 వరకు వస్తాయి సార్.
For Telangana's leadership, it's not about breaking records, but about ensuring financial freedom for all. Each Dalit Bandhu grant of 10 lakh rupees has an inbuilt 10,000 rupees safety net, Dalita Rakshana Nidhi, to ensure that all Dalit families get financial assistance from the fund at times of distress. To further strengthen this, Telangana government contributes additional 10,000 rupees, which is over and above each grant. A great safety net that has no parallel anywhere in the world. For the KCR government, this is more than just a financial benefit. If any beneficiary of Dalit Bandhu meets with fatal disease or accident, the family should not go through additional depression and hard times. They should remain protected. That is the true purpose of the special safety net designed as Dalita Rakshana Nidhi.
కేసీఆర్ సార్ ఇంత పెద్ద స్కీమ్ తీసుకురావడం అనేది చాలా గొప్ప విషయం సార్. మాలాంటి వాళ్ళకి ఓన్గా ఒక కంపెనీ పెట్టి ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ కావాలనుకునే వాళ్ళ కోసం ఇది గోల్డెన్ ఆపర్చునిటీ.
అదే కాకుండా దళితులు అంటే సమాజంలో అందరికీ చిన్న చూపుగానే ఉంటుంది. ఇప్పుడు ఇది ఇవ్వడం వల్ల
సార్ దళిత బంధు ఇచ్చి మమ్మల్ని ఎంతో ఆదుకున్నారు సార్. మాకు మరో అంబేద్కర్ గారు సారు మాకైతే మాటల్లో చెప్పలేము. ఆయనకు మాకు ఎంతో బతుకునిచ్చిండ్రు అసలు.
Under the fearless leadership of KCR, Dalits finally have a government that protects and defends them. Telangana inspires them to overcome oppression and empowers them to be bold, so that each Dalit can move up in the world with head held high, creating their own success story, making Telangana shine, and in turn, India.
You are watching India Today.
All right, viewers, latest news break coming in. Uddhav Thackeray has got the torch mashal symbol. Shiv Sena, Uddhav Bala Sahib Thackeray, name of Uddhav Sena. On the other faction, the Eknath Shinde faction gets the Bala Sahib Ji Shiv Sena. As the name, ECI asks for 3 options as symbol for Eknath Shinde. That's the latest that we are getting in, viewers. This is coming clearly at the back of the Election Commission, freezing the original symbol of the Shiv Sena, as both factions now claiming to be the real Shiv Sena. All right, viewers, that's the latest that we are getting in. Uddhav Thackeray has now got the torch symbol. He had given the suggestion for 3 symbols, and the EC has awarded Uddhav Thackeray's faction of the Shiv Sena the mashal, which is the torch. This is what the Uddhav faction Shiv Sena, which will now be called Let me quickly take you through. The Uddhav Sena gets the torch mashal symbol. Shiv Sena, Uddhav Bala Sahib Thackeray will be the name of Uddhav Sena. Shiv Sena, Uddhav Bala Sahib Thackeray. While Eknath Shinde has got the name, his faction has got the name of Bala Sahib Ji Shiv Sena. So between Bala Sahib Ji Shiv Sena and Shiv Sena, Uddhav Bala Sahib Thackeray will be going to vote this BMC election. The original Shiv Sena symbol has now been frozen. That war will be fought in court. But the EC till now has awarded these symbols at least to Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena, which will now be called Shiv Sena Bala Sahib Thackeray. Aishwarya, Eknath Shinde yet to give options, 3 options of the symbol that they would want, while the torch being awarded to Uddhav faction.
Well, Preeti, you know, the options that they had given a Trishul, but the Election Commission has clearly stated that they cannot award Trishul. They have also said that the rising sun is the symbol of the DMK, which then left the ECI with the only symbol, which is the mashal, which has been given to them. Now, in fact, the other faction has been asked to give them options by tomorrow. So the Eknath Shinde faction will have to give 3 options for symbols, because the symbols that they had given, the options that they had given to the ECI are not available. Preeti, one thing which is very crucial is the fact that all the symbols should be free symbols, which means that those symbols should not be given to any other party. Those options both the factions were asked for, and for now. We understand.
All right, Aishwarya, we appreciate you joining us. We're going to continue to come back to you for further updates. Viewers, let's quickly now shift focus to our big debate on To The Point this evening. Now, it all started with one highly inflammatory, communally charged statement that was made by a BJP MP representing the West Delhi constituency, Parvesh Verma. He's done it earlier. He did it again. He did it in 2020. This time around, addressing a Vishwa Hindu Parishad event, he said practically the unthinkable, targeting one community without naming it. Hear him out.
सारी समस्या का एक ही इलाज है, और वो इलाज है संपूर्ण बहिष्कार। संपूर्ण बहिष्कार कर दो। ये रेडियां लगा रहे हैं, इनके रेडी से सब्जी खरीदने की जरूरत नहीं है। ये मांस मच्छी की दुकान खोलते हैं। मैं कहता हूं, अगर इनका दिमाग ठीक करना है, इनकी तबीयत ठीक करनी है, तो एक ही इलाज है, वो है संपूर्ण बहिष्कार। आप इस बात से सहमत हो? हाथ खड़ा करके बोलो सहमत हो तो, और मेरे साथ बोलो, हम इनका संपूर्ण बहिष्कार करेंगे। हम इनको कोई मजदूरी नहीं देंगे।
Parvesh Verma speaking to a packed audience at a VHP event. No regret right now, no apology coming in from him. Will his party take action? Till now, there is no police complaint against him, viewers, because what has really happened is that there was an FIR against the organizers of the event and not against the MP, who instigated the crowds as well. But the fact is, most that you speak to the BJP says we haven't quite named any community, or that he did not name any community. Should it be left at that, or should strong action be taken and this be considered hate speech? Desh Ratan Nigam, lawyer, is with us. Waris Pathan, leader, AIMIM, Zainab Sikandar, columnist. Mr. Pathan, I want to begin with you. The BJP would say that the name Muslim or the Muslim community hasn't been taken. How do you rate this as a hate speech? He didn't quite name any community.
Well, the BJP is playing the politics of hatred, polarization and divisive. In a way, they have waged a war against the Muslim community in the whole country. What we see in Delhi, closest to Mr. Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of the country, this Parvesh Verma, who is a habitual offender, a habitual hate monger. Earlier also during the Shaheen Bagh period, he used language against the community, and he was trying to flare up the communal disharmony in the entire country. But why no action is taken against him so far by the Delhi police? And how can you say that boycott the Muslims? It is against the Constitution, Article 17, which speaks against this thing. But no action would be taken against him. Earlier also no action was taken against him, even now. But that what is happening in the country from other stage? One
because
of
Mr.
these
Pathan, Mr. Pathan, the fact is what the BJP is trying to hide.
And he gives an open call for genocide of the Muslims. So
Right.
where are we heading for it? But no action against them as well.
But
So
Mr.
is
Pathan,
social
what
boycotting
Parvesh
of the
Verma...
Muslims, is it permissible under law? And why Modi is
Okay,
quiet
Mr.
and why
Pathan,
no
hear me
action
out. Hear
against
the
Parvesh
question
Verma?
out.
Yeah.
Sir, the question is that he did not name any community. It could come across as he was addressing not any particular community. He was trying to address only the ones who are hate mongers or who are causing crimes or behind crimes. That is what, Mr. Parvesh Verma would say, that he hasn't named the Muslim community.
No. Well, madam, you, me, the entire nation knows whom he was referring to. He was clear cut and he directly targeted the community Muslims. He was clear in that you boycott them. Whom was he trying to boycott? Was he trying to boycott the Muslims? Or was he trying to boycott the Hindu brothers and sisters? Get a clarification, but why no action against him? He was targeting the Muslims, and on another stage, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad gave an open call for genocide against the Muslims. That Yogi, I am forgetting his name, he made a statement that Musalmano ko chun chun ke maro. In UP, the BJP's legislature is saying that Ikhlaq, the sewer, was killed. You are calling him a pig, calling him a sewer. What would his family be? And where is Mr. Modi? Why no word of condemnation for him? Why no word of condemnation for any of the BJP leaders? Had anybody from our community made such kind of statement, by now hue and cry would have erupted. People would have sent them to jail. FIR would have registered. UAP would have applied. And bulldozers have been used. But till now, Modi is silent. The BJP leaders are silent. No condemnation from any corner against this Parvesh Verma, who is an habitual hate monger. Why no action? He has taken the oath of the constitution, madam, and he is violating the constitution itself. Untouchability is clearly mentioned in Article 17. You cannot. There are several judgments on that, and he's trying to divide the nation. Why boycott Muslims? Why boycott them socially? Why boycott them? They are part of this India.
Okay.
We have given our life for the independence of the great nation India. Where were they? Where was the Sangh Parivar that time during the independence era? And today he is targeting the same community. He is saying that you should boycott them.
Desh Ratan Nigam, Mr. Pathan, stay with me. Mr. Pathan, stay with me. I want to pull in Desh Ratan Nigam into this conversation. Mr. Nigam, one can't really hide behind the fig leaf of a suggestion that he did not name a particular community. 2020, he was finally banned by the EC to campaign for the Delhi elections because he used highly inflammatory communal language. The Delhi riots followed thereafter. There are many petitions which are still lying in court, still being heard on whether the likes of Mr. Parvesh Verma should be charged for the Delhi riots as well. Again, exactly the same language, if not worse. Shouldn't the party take action against its own?
Preeti ji, in fact, Delhi riots did not start because of Parvesh Verma. There was immense amount of planning and immense amount of studies.
Sir, we don't know that. Those cases are in court. We do not know that. The EC, do you agree with me? The High Court pulled him up, saying that this was hate speech. Not just him, two other BJP leaders as well.
No, let me
The EC banned him from campaigning for using communally divisive language.
Let me answer that. I was on the fact that you said that Delhi riots started because of Parvesh.
No, I'm not saying, sir. There are many petitions which are lying in court today, which seem to... Yes.
Let that petitions be there and finally be disposed of. Election Commission did take a step and, banned him from campaigning for the period of time, whatever it was. So that I will speak on the present subject. Present subject, Mr. Verma clearly said that Manish Sharma, who was brutally, chased and murdered, was murdered by certain criminal and jihadi elements, and such people should be boycotted. That is what he said, and his reference was entirely, and later on he clarified also. Without
so
taking
would you
the
want
names
to hear it again? Because I'll tell you what, one second I'll give context. Because we were short on time, we haven't played our context story, but I'll give context. In this particular rally, or rather a sabha by the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, Mr. Parvesh Verma was attending it, and they were addressing a Hindu boy who was allegedly killed by certain Muslim men. At the back of it is what Parvesh Verma spoke to the people. He says he was talking about only those who murdered this particular boy. But Mr. Nigam, I'll come back to you and I'll ask you one question. You want to hear the entire speech? Because he didn't say those people. He said total, complete boycott of everyone.
See, the fact is, while speaking in they said, Sir, Manish Sharma has been killed by jihadi elements. Would you agree to that or not?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
It's for the police to investigate, sir. And I would hope you will also only agree to what the investigation comes, and let's not jump to any conclusions.
So therefore, let us not jump to any conclusion. Let the police see the context in which it was said and how it was said.
Would you not reckon, Mr. Nigam, you're a lawyer and I'll ask you, would you not reckon at this point of time there should at least be an FIR? Because by the sheer virtue of prima facie evidence of this speech, this seems like hate speech. Shouldn't there be an FIR at least?
No, I don't think so, because one will be stretching it a bit too far. Here he was very contextual and he very clearly said, and let there be investigation. If it is, in my opinion, if the entire speech is seen in its full context, the elements of FIR is not made out, even prima facie.
Sir, I hope you see the entire speech, because we've sat and sifted through the entire speech. Let me also tell you, sir, before he made these inflammatory comments, he gave examples of members of the Muslim community purportedly behind crimes which have not been proven. He gave various examples. Then he went on to say what he has. Zainab Sikandar, I want to pull you in on this. Would you think...
Give me 10 seconds.
Yes, sir. Please.
So, while he's quoting the crimes, he's also saying the criminals who are doing it.
No, sir. He's saying total boycott. I can make you hear it again.
Total boycott
of the community.
Not he says community, Muslim
sir,
community.
I will make you hear it again. Okay, anyway, sir,
does he say Muslim community? Yeah. Does he say Muslim community?
No, he doesn't say Muslim community. Zainab Sikandar, I want to bring you in. Okay.
That is the point.
Sir, it's for you to believe what you believe. You're a lawyer. I would reckon you would have seen the fair or the just side of it. But having said that, Zainab Sikandar, I want to pull you in on this conversation with what Mr. Nigam also said. Do you think benefit of doubt maybe needs to be given to Mr. Parvesh Verma, because what he meant was those who were behind the crime, especially of the murder of a young Hindu boy, he was only talking about them and not the entire community.
Yeah, so the obvious answer to this is that even if he was talking about the families of the three men who are the accused in killing Manish Sharma, you tell me, does justice of this land say that if there is an accused, a convict, his family also has to be punished for a crime, that someone from the family has committed a crime and the entire family should be punished for it? You tell me, is this, Mr. Nigam is a lawyer, is this legally allowed, that you can actually, completely जो बोलते हैं संपूर्ण बहिष्कार कर सकते हो आप एक फैमिली का, बिकॉज उसमें से एक इंसान है जिसने एक क्राइम किया है. Somebody from the family has done, one person from a family has done a crime and the entire family has to be punished for that crime. Do you agree with this? Let's not act naive. We know what was implied, but the sad reality is that today if I repeat the words and say that he meant a certain community and that community is this and this community, I am liable to arrest. But someone who's a sitting MP from the ruling party is enjoying the privileges of impunity. There is no FIR against him. There is no pulling up from the disciplinary committee of the party.
Waris Pathan, do you agree with the fact that he meant it not for the entire community but for those who were behind that particular crime?
No, it's a matter of convenience.
No, madam, he
Today,
meant
Mr.
the
Parvesh
entire
Verma
community. In सबका बहिष्कार करना पड़ेगा.
Go ahead, Mr. Pathan.
Please, let me...
May I make my point, madam? Madam, the point here is Modi says सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास, सबका प्रयास. Now, Amit Shah stands up for a speech, and when the azan goes, he waits for 1 minute. Mohan Bhagwat goes to a madrasa in Delhi, listens to the Quran, and when their own party member, who's a member of parliament, he makes such kind of remarks, such kind of hate speech against one community for boycott, why are they silent? Why no? My question is simple. Why no FIR against him? And why no word of condemnation from Modi?
Okay,
when a cricketer's thumb got injured, Prime Minister Modi tweeted. But today, when such kind of statements are being made, no word of condemnation. So where are we heading for? This is the reason why the floggings are taking place openly in Gujarat.
Shouldn't there be an FIR? And since when, since when are we resorting to kangaroo courts? It's for the police to prove, investigate and punish the people behind a crime. Since when have we started socially boycotting people before they are proven guilty?
Let me answer that. One is what is being in practice in society. A crime, as far as criminal jurisprudence goes, is dealt with at 2 or 3 levels. One at the police level, one at the judicial level, one at the social level. And we have seen time and again where certain sections of the people or certain criminals, get involved in crimes, or say certain, tribal communities. There was a time where it was, they were involved in crimes, they were boycotted. This is the social level at which certain criminals are being boycotted. This is how our society works.
Well, the society should work as per the rule of law. But I apologize to all three of you. Zainab, I'm sorry, you wanted to speak. I need to cut it short. We had some breaking news. That's all the time that I have for. But thank you for joining us. We leave it for our viewers to decide. At least should there be an FIR or an investigation? Because what we heard falls in the ambit of hate speech. A quick break. Up next is Rahul Kamal.
Can you imagine your life without Swiggy, Dunzo, Zomato, Zepto? Well, let's just nod in agreement that life would not be the same without these apps. But can we look at them with a finer lens? After the pandemic, reliance on these apps increased, and so did the demand and supply for gig work across India, according to Taskmo Gig Index. Gig work consists of income-earning activities outside of traditional long-term employer-employee relationships. So essentially, these gig workers are those who are delivering the items you order through these apps. But there are problems this workforce is facing. Problems around social security rights and working rights. These problems are also the primary cause of distress among the emerging form of employees. So let's explain what a gig economy is. Gig economy is a free market where organizations like Ola, Uber, Zomato and Swiggy hire or contract workers for a short span of time. Basically, these are temporary positions to meet the company's immediate requirements. Gig workers are those who are part of this economy. They work independently on call or on a temporary basis. India is the 5th largest gig economy according to an India Staffing Federation report. In India, over 15 million workers are employed as gig workers across the industries. And digital platforms played an important role in helping job seekers find these gig work. Gig workers suffer from the lack of social security, sanitary working conditions, and working rights. So this sector is highly unregulated, which, like any unregulated sector, results in